Hello, everyone. I am Victoria, and we are here for Roll20's Indie Showcase. We are playing The Secret of Cats by Richard Bellingham. And I am super excited to run everyone through a little kitty adventure in the streets of Silverford. But before we get to that part, why don't we introduce ourselves, starting with Jess?
Me! Hi! Hello. Thank you for having me, Victoria in Roll20. I'm Jess. I go by Brissa Pope on Twitter and I use they them pronouns. Super excited to be here. I'm here and there and everywhere. Don't move on to the next person.
Oh, why don't you tell us about Utopia? Because Utopia has been doing wonderfully.
Yes, indeed. I am a caretaker slash co-admin for twitch.tv slash Utopia, a TTRPG channel run for POC by POC. So we try to do a little bit of everything. We have panels, we have creator spotlights, and we do one shots and long shots, all of the things related to tabletop.
Yeah. And congratulations on your Gen Con feature.
Thank you. That was
Yeah,
exciting.
that was exciting. You had thousands of viewers, like 8,000, something like that.
Yeah, it was big. I mean, really, B and all of the cast stole the show.
It was, yeah, no, that was wonderful. So, congratulations on the success of Utopia. That's wonderful, especially since y'all are so new. That's really, really wonderful. Masood.
Hi guys, I'm Masood. I go on Twitter at Marudboy, Mahrudboi, which I just realized you can see spelled out. You don't even need me to do that anymore. The he, him, and yeah, you can catch me on Roll20. I'll be on later tonight playing Mythic Odysseys of Theros with Indoor Recess. We're having a blast. And then I'm also on Ravels of Waterdeep on Sundays, which was not coming back. Well, we have something else planned. We're not playing Ravels of Waterdeep, but we have something else planned, and it might be kids on bikes, and I might be DMing it. But you have to tune in to find out about all of that. Yeah,
Yeah. I love Kids on Bikes.
it's so much fun.
We played it last week here.
All right, yes, you guys
Yeah.
did. Well, yeah, I have so many questions, especially because you had the creator on board, right, for that as
Yeah, we
well.
did. We had
Yeah,
co-designer Doug on board. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a blast.
hell yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. Tracy.
Hello, I'm Tracy, she, her pronouns. You may recognize me as one of Victoria's co-cast members of the Broadswords. You could also sometimes see me on the Broadswords Twitch, streaming the occasional video game. If you want to connect with me, you can find me over on Twitter at TracySore. And I'm so excited to be here so I can finally achieve my dreams of becoming a cat.
Yes.
All right, I've chat. You said my volume was down. I had it down from last time. Is that better? Just let me know. I turned it up because last time I was too loud and I was clipping.
Mhm.
I got excited. All right, and we have the designer of The Secrets of Cats, Richard Bellingham. Thank you so much for joining us. Why don't you tell us
Hi
a bit?
everyone, my pleasure. It's good to be here.
Why don't you tell us a little about yourself, what you do, where we can find you and your work?
Okay, so a few years back, Evil Hat launched a thing where they were looking for new writers, and it was for their Fate Worlds Patreon that they were putting up. And I got through the first couple of rounds, and they asked me to pitch some ideas, and I was like, "What does everyone love on the internet? Cats." So the rest is history, really. I sort of lifted a few things from the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical Cats, a few things from here and there, a bit of cat behavior, put it all in a cocktail shaker, mix it up, and out came this urban fantasy game where you get to play a cat. And it's fairly popular. It's done pretty well. It's kind of, I think I've been platinum on Drive Through RPG. I get a little bit of money out of the two expansions I made, so I'm really happy with the way it's been received, and everyone loves cats, so it's good. You can find me on Twitter at Skimble with a one, SK1MBLE, if you should be interested in whatever I have to say.
All right, so you told us a little bit about how the Secrets of Cats came to be. So why don't you explain to us a little bit about the game itself and the mechanics of the game, like a basic overview?
Yeah, okay. So it's a Fate core game for anybody who knows what that means. So we're going to be using Fate dice, very simple system with pluses, minuses, and blanks. We are going to be cats with magic powers because if you were just an ordinary cat, it would be pretty difficult to fight things that go bump in the night. So we have various schools of magic at our command. Each of us is a specialist in one, and we can do things like change our shape, change our size, weird esoteric powers over true names, you name it. They've got weird little abilities they can do things with. I think that covers it.
Okay. And all right, let's get a little bit into our characters here. Now these characters here are in the Roll20 module. Let me just switch over to the gameplay side so everyone can see what it is that we're talking about. This module comes with some sample characters all ready to go, as well as a whole bunch of NPCs for the GM. And as you can see, here's the quick start for it. So it's really set up so that you can just jump in and go. And under the handouts, we'll go down here. Let's talk about Swift the Shaper first. Who is playing Swift the Shaper?
That is I.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Swift?
Yes, I can do that because I popped out my character sheet. Swift is a master shaper, known for her quick wit and reflexes. Her burdens, which are humans, were the Coopers, an argumentative couple of retirees. But when they moved to a retirement home, they could not bring a pet. Their granddaughter, Tisha, took Swift home and brings the cat with her every weekend when she visits her grandparents. Swift puts up with being carried in a backpack with haughty dignity. Swift once protected Blackpaw's burden, Lily, while Blackpaw was busy elsewhere, leaving the Blackpaw very grateful. Most recently, Swift rid the town of a living flame in the days leading up to Halloween.
So how...
Amazing how often that happens.
Yeah, right? How old? I'm going to say granddaughter Tisha is about, for the sake of the scenario we've got for you, it's about 15.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah. So the granddaughter is younger and lives with her parents. What kind of home does Tisha and her parents live in? Is it an apartment? Is it condo? Is it a house, a standalone house?
For this haughty little cat, it's much too small. It is definitely a condo. They probably split with some close lifelong friends, but like a 2-bedroom condo, and I'm stuck. She hasn't even figured out that I need 2 litter boxes. Dang it, Tisha. And it's the second floor, so like she never lets me go out the window.
How do you sneak out then?
You know, those summer and fall nights, the burdens want to get the fresh air. So it's always there's one window in the kitchen that seems to have a little easier way to push up the screen door. So I just kind of nudge my way out the kitchen side.
And that brings us to Tack the Seeker.
I would love to talk about Tack the Seeker. So my information about Tack is recently, Tack has been dealing with the obligatory pumpkin-headed man haunting the town around Halloween time. And that is all I know about them. So I've been filling out a little bit of the background. Some of the cool things that I looked at was their burdens are everyone on my street. So I feel like Tack pushing that, his trouble being I push my friends away, and his high concept being he's a greedy seeker. Tack is the only, he's a feral cat. He lives out on the street, but he protects a cul-de-sac. So in that sort of half circle of the block, that's his area where he roams around, and all the people there know him. All the neighbors sort of stop by, leave a little bit of food out, and he actively pushes other feral cats away and other like sentient animals, because that's a thing in this game. Other people who might jump onto what a good thing he's got going on right now.
All right. And that brings us to, where does Tack like to sleep, actually, before we jump over?
Oh, for sure. Tack likes to sleep on, say, Mary Kerchick's house. Mary's 67, retired right now. She has a porch on the front of her home that's kind of like a wraparound. And so usually there's like a little, like, she even installed like a cat tree. So Tack's got a little outdoor space where you can get up and hide.
Mary.
She's the best. Tack doesn't have many favorites, so Mary's up there.
All right, I'm writing down Mary Kerchief, favorite of Tack.
I am also writing that down.
It may vary according to who has most recently given him cream. Or
Yeah, exactly.
And Blackpaw.
Yes, Blackpoor is a serious young cat who is all about duty and responsibility and keeping promises. He was once forced to sacrifice his own brother in order to save his burden. So he feels very, highly that it's important to keep one's word and to do that which one has promised to do. And in fact, that's his true name, is Oathkeeper, as a result. He has a young burden named Lily, who he likes to look after. And as was previously mentioned, he currently owes a favour to one of our other felines, because she looked after Lily while he was away doing something, probably fighting pumpkin-headed monsters or something, you never know. And yeah, he's a little serious. He tends to be, he a little, not egotistical exactly, but every now and again, it's good to puncture his sense of pride, and someone who can make a little bit of fun of him is good for that.
Okay, who is, so Lily is your burden. How old is Lily?
Lily's about 12 years old.
Okay.
She's soon turning 13, as she likes to tell everybody. And they live in one of those old houses. It's a little bit sort of amity looking. It's got like creaky boards. It's a family inheritance with a creepy old attic with some rare artifacts in it that could cause all kinds of chaos around Halloween. And weird eldritch glowing from the weather vane in certain weather conditions because of St. Elmo's fire, and a few sort of portions of the building that aren't used anymore, and they're just completely dust covered and left alone by the family.
All right, so that's Blackpaw, and that brings us to Nameless the Neymar.
Ooh. All right. So Nameless the Neymar. While Nameless considers herself feral and independent, she has formed a bond with Jamie, a boy with a sunny disposition and a kind heart. At first attracted by the smells of delicious food, because Nameless loves delicious human food, she allowed the boy to scratch her ears, then her belly. Now she considers Jamie to be her burden, and Jamie refers to her as Kitty, which she does not like. Her name is not Kitty. Do not refer to her as Kitty, but she accepts it because it's Jamie and he's her burden, and that's what cats do for burdens. If her friends saw her curling up on Jamie's lap, Nameless's reputation as a dangerous, spooky, feral creature would take a hit. I see Nameless as a little bit of an older cat. I kind of see Nameless a little bit like, we have this one very scrappy cat that lives on our street where his hair is looking a little rough and he's a bit tough around the edges, but if you go in to give him a pet, he's always going to come and say hi to you. That's kind of what Nameless is like, a little older, a little scrappier, but with the soft side.
Does Nameless have scars?
Oh, absolutely. Lots of scars, lots of fights with other cats. She's very protective of her area, and when other cats infringe on it, she's likely to get a little territorial at the moment.
Where does Nameless tend to sleep?
Nameless really likes sleeping in flower beds or gardens, vegetable gardens, anywhere where there's those nice, comfortable looking, fluffy flowers is where she likes to sleep.
Yeah, I get that. I had past tense, had some really nice yarrow in my front garden, but it became a sleeping space for some sort of creature in the night, I think cats, and it died.
Yeah, I think that Nameless slept on your yarrow until it died.
Great! Alright, so that is going to bring us to, let me bring up part 1, because there are some concepts in this game, like burdens or sentient animals. Most animals are not sentient, but there are some. And let me just kind of talk a little bit about those. So we occupy a different world from our burdens. This is written, it's really cute, Richard, from the cat's perspective, because we're playing cats. So we occupy a different world from our burdens, a world filled with sapient animals and all manner of spirits, creatures, and monsters. Not everything in this hidden world is hostile, but it is difficult to tell a harmless pixie from a needle-toothed monster with a taste for human noses. And it's better to be safe than sorry. So what happens in this is cats are aware, they're magic, and they're aware of all of the little ghouls and ghosties and things that go bump in the night, and humans aren't. So cats protect humans, or their burdens, from these things that humans otherwise don't believe in. So sapient animals, a sapient animal is one capable of true thought, not driven by mere instinct. The capacity for sapience varies by species. Cats, crows, and ravens are almost always gifted, while dogs, squirrels, and mice rarely are. All sapient animals can speak with one another, and, though we often clash, many of us also have allies of other species. So each of you is going to have an ally. Who is your ally? What species are they? Why don't we start, this time we'll go in opposite. Tracy.
Nameless's ally is a rat named Mr. Whiskers. I'm sorry, Jess, I see your face, and I know that there are some who aren't fond of rats, but you have to keep in mind that Nameless is a very scrappy type and really appreciates how tough rats are. And Mr. Whiskers has been running with Nameless for probably about a year now, and he was originally living, he was a sewer rat from New York City before he came to travel a while to meet Nameless.
I love the fact that Mr. Whiskers traveled from New York City sewers to Silverford in Maine, I believe, is where we're located.
That far.
For 4 tiny rat feet, that's a marathon.
That's epic.
Yeah.
He's an adventurous rat.
Did he hop the rails? Did he hop on a train and was in a grain train and was yummy, and then woke up one morning going, oh no?
That's exactly what happened. Is he saw this large, delicious, edible bag of grain, just ate way too much, and fell asleep on the train and woke up with it moving, and he ends up in Maine.
You know, that's how rats travel, I guess. They ride the rails in ships. Okay, and then Jess, what is your ally?
Oh, geez, Louise. I'm gonna still do it. We're going along with the rodent hype, and we've got Squeaky McSqueakersons, the squirrel, who is always ready to talk your ear off. He's he's significantly swifter than Swift in terms of chatting and getting people to want to not listen to you.
Is Squeaks McSqueakinsons a mouse?
Squeaky McSqueakerson
Squeakerson
is a squirrel. Is a squirrel.
Okay, a squirrel. I wasn't sure if you're saying a quail.
Oh my gosh. Now I just picture the squirrel Squeaky with a tail, a quail tail. That's just too much. Too much power, Victoria. He's not nearly as adventurous as Mr. Whiskers. He's lived dutifully in this condo. I met him when we moved here with the parents, and I haven't been able to get rid of him since.
All right. So you are Swift, yes?
Correct.
All right, Tack.
Tack's ally is a bat named Fergus. And Fergus Featherwing, but everyone just calls him Fergus. And Fergus and Tack are close because during the day, Tack kind of like they eventually interacted in the evening once when Tack is a seeker, and so part of that is he can astrally project and leave his body where it is and go out and explore. And one of the things that happens though is your body is it's left there. It's in harm while your spirit and your energy is in the astral plane. And he came back. Tack arrived back after his journey, and Fergus was kind of there waiting and watching. And they like built a rapport. Sort of realized that they can mutually benefit one another. Fergus promises to protect Tack at night while they astrally project, and Tack promises to, well, Fergus needs to get revenge, and Tack's the only one who can track down that revenge.
Oh, okay. There's a story here. So what does Fergus need revenge for?
And Fergus had a family in the caves, and then they were cleared for whatever reason. Some say it was the silver mine collapsing. Some say it was people trying to, move in, cut down some forest, and like clear out the area for some new development. Fergus knows it was the pumpkin-headed man. This is something more powerful at work, and he wants revenge. And so
Right.
Tack is agreeing. That's his way in. He doesn't really care, but because he owes Fergus, that's why he's doing what he's doing.
All right, the pumpkin-headed man. Okay, and that leaves us with Blackpaw.
Okay, so Blackpool's ally is a bit, you might think a bit strange, but it's a snail that lives in the back garden of the house where he lives with Lily. Snails in this world are actually more likely to be intelligent than most invertebrates because they reincarnate. And unlike most animals, they remember their reincarnations. So if you ever need like almost a Zen-like arcane wisdom, snails are really good places to go. And his ally is called the Gold of Morning because he likes to contemplate on the magic of the sun when it rises every morning. He just spends his time cruising around, eating plants, meditating on the sun, and occasionally using his telekinetic powers for good.
I'm getting some Alice in Wonderland vibes here.
Yeah, if you picture the telekinesis, he just wiggles his eye stalks, and it makes things lift and move around like little magic wands.
Oh, that's so cute.
All right. Now, just a little bit more about our characters here.
Mhm.
I'm gonna click here. We'll go back to Swift, the Shaper. Now on your character sheet, because this is Fate, we have aspects. So why don't you kind of go into the high concept? What is your high concept, and what does that mean to you?
Swift's high concept is the stealthy shaper. Oh, I clicked a button I didn't mean to. These are interactive character sheets. Hello.
Yes, they are.
So as a magic cat, my specialty is unique in that I manipulate myself, and it's something I like to do in private, so I don't think anyone's ever seen me shape into something else. And it's very emotional. as a little empath of a Siamese cat, I only do it in the utmost necessary needs.
All right. And what's your trouble?
Ooh. Secretly soft-hearted curmudgeon. Wow, I feel called out in this character sheet. Oh man, I'm curious to find out who learns my trouble because I am soft and squishy on the inside, guys. Oh, buddy.
And next we're gonna go into your true name, but before we do that, for everyone watching, in this game, your true name is powerful. So just like in folklore and myth, names have power, and if you're trying to defeat a ghoul or ghosty or something that goes bump in the night, if you can find out what their true name is, you can defeat them. You have power over them. So you only ever share your true name with someone if you have explicit trust and respect for this person. So true names are kept pretty private. Now, burdens are us humans. We're careless with our true names. We write them down on pieces of paper. We just introduce each other with our true names. We go about not caring in the slightest because we don't believe any of that is real. But cats, we know differently. So true names are very special, and true names come to cats in a dream based on as they come of age and something that's an intrinsic part of them, a very special thing about them. So your true name is Shadow Weaver. Why is your true name Shadow Weaver?
You know, having a burden full of tumultuous family life and being stuck in a cramped house, I tend to find solace in leaving, sneaking out the kitchen window, and going off into the night. I often feel like I was born I shouldn't have been a house cat. So I will spend my nights wandering through the streets, often in the shadows. And once I took a nap under the moonlight and had a dream. And instead of slinking through the shadows, I was falling. I fell in the shadows, slipping back and forth between worlds, and walking through the shadows became quite literal. Rather than hiding, I was protecting people on the other side, coming back, traveling where others couldn't travel.
Okay, I like it. Tack the Seeker. Let's bring up your one. Oh, is it already up?
No.
Why is it not showing?
I'm not sure.
Well, why don't you tell us about Tack?
Sure.
What's your high concept?
My high concept, and we talked a little bit about this because I just think I had a little more freedom in creating them because of the background, but Tack's high concept is a greedy seeker. And so with that, I think growing up on the streets of Silverford, Tack has never really known his parents. For as far back as he can remember, he's just been like a kitten alone out in the space. And so everything that he has, he's had to get it himself. And so part of that is making sure that he's okay, that he is always the one that is taken care of first before other folks. And so now that he's good and like kind of stable, I think he's greedy in the fact that he doesn't want anyone else to get what he has and try to keep people away from that. And that kind of pushes into his trouble, which is I push my friends away. Tack doesn't really have many friends. His burdens, he only engages with and like protects them because they feed him. The moment they stop feeding him, he probably wouldn't think of them as his burden anymore. And his true name is Nightfinder, because that is what tech does. He finds things. He looks out. He keeps track. If you need something discovered, Tack will use his mystic abilities, either through astral projection or just receiving a prophecy from a dream about where your item might be. But it always comes at a price.
Food, probably.
Yeah, always.
What kind of price do you prefer?
It depends. It depends on who's there. If I know, well, so like, I think that's part of it, is that if it's like, forgive me, Richard, what was your snail's name?
I called him Golden Light, something like that.
The
Gold of Morning.
The Gold of Morning. I think for the Gold of Morning for that snail would probably be something like your original shell, like something like deeply private and personal that holds also power in it, maybe on a different plane as well.
Yeah, that's a lot. All right, Blackpaw.
Yeah, okay, so I'm a dedicated young warden. So, obviously his role is very important to him. He believes in protecting people, not just his burden, but people and cats in general. He thinks that it's what gives him purpose, especially since the loss of his brother. He needs something to keep him going, to drive him forward, otherwise he'd sink into depression. So for him, he's thrown everything into his job, essentially, his role. And that's what gives him purpose and gets him up in the evenings. And that's also his trouble. He misses his brother and still trying to find someone to fill that hole that can ever be filled.
All right, and so that's why you still have Oathkeeper?
Yes, the oath that he kept was to protect his burden, even though the cost was unimaginably high. So I think he found out his true name after that happened. So it was a surprise to him, but it couldn't really have been anything else given the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ruined. I'm already ruined.
Oh. All right. And we've got Nameless.
All right, so Nameless, her high concept is spooky Neymar. So she definitely really, I think, puts a lot of stock into the idea of true names, especially her own true name. It's something really sacred to her, since she's very connected to the magic of naming. And spooky, I think, is, there's black cats get treated a certain way. We all know that, or, especially how they don't allow black cats to get adopted around Halloween. Black cats are seen as spooky, and I think that she's kind of taken that in as part of her identity, where she's like, well, you want me to be spooky? I will be spooky.
What about your trouble? Sucker for fancy human food. What do you consider to be fancy human food?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think that tuna is the ultimate fancy human food.
All right.
She knows that sound. Do you know that peeling sound of opening a can of tuna when you lift the lid and it kind of pops and then you peel the rest of it open? She could hear that sound from three kilometers away. Mm-hmm. She knows it better than
know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my cats do too. You do that and they just appear. It doesn't matter where they were. They are now there. Or the tuna. But I would say any kind of fish. Tuna's her favorite, but any kind of fish she's especially fond of.
All right. And true name is Lonely Storyteller. Why don't you tell us a little story about how you got that name?
So, I've always considered myself to be a bit of a lonely cat. It happens when you're very protective of your burden and your space and your area. Loneliness is a bit of a byproduct of protectiveness. Yet, I've been around and seen so many things and spoken to so many cats and seen so many burdens that others still enjoy listening to my stories. They see wisdom in what I've seen.
So tales of what not to do.
Tales of what not to do, cautious tales of cats. Sometimes some of my tales are cats who have come a bit too close into my area and had to be chased away. I've lost a fight or two, but I've won many more fights than I've lost.
All right. How do the four of you know each other? Because you are working together for this adventure. So how do you know each other? I'm thinking maybe, Tack, you are kind of a wandering cat yourself.
I would say maybe Shift, or on one of their excursions in the middle of the night, tried to venture into the cul-de-sac and was rebuffed quickly.
It was startling. I didn't mean to be in the cul-de-sac, and suddenly I was there, and it was clearly someone else's. My bad.
Then how
did we meet in the cul-de-sac?
Probably at the edge of the street, where it's like, I imagine it's your first, maybe first or a few times just kind of exploring, and so you think you're being quiet, but I know the way the wind sounds on the leaves, and something's blocking that, and so yeah.
Okay, touche.
How did you end up talking?
So little kitten far from home wandered into the den of the demons, apparently.
Excuse me?
Oh, no, oh.
You dare call me a kitten?
Yeah. I call a cat with no scars, with no hunger lines, truly a kitten, for you have not endured the life that Tack had. Oh, I'm Tack, by the way. Hi, it's not nice to meet you, but yeah.
Sure. Let me take a step back. Clearly, this is a spot. This is not my spot. It's your spot. I acknowledge it's your spot, and just because you can't see my scars doesn't mean I am not wounded.
And that was your first meeting?
And then it was just silently staring at each other for a little bit. Till they walk away.
Tails flicking.
You just can't unsee like the cats when they meet each other and they're like at odds. They get up on their paws, like pretending to be bipedal. I'm like, bruh.
Their tails are flicking. Yeah. And then I think over time, did you become a little bit more, maybe if not friends, a little bit warmer to each other?
Oh, for sure. I'd say like the more I realized Swift would be walking along the top of the street as opposed to going down the block, they would see Tack hanging out from a tree, sort of keeping an eye. And I think that's how it started for like the first couple times of just like noticing one another, and then it sort of evolved into like, okay.
So
I heard there's a flock of rats coming out of the sewers 2 blocks over.
Yeah, I thought they'd be tasty.
No?
They were fun chase.
Okay.
Bap around a little bit.
Yeah. Well, send them my way if you get bored.
Oh, for sure. Easy peasy. Bless you.
And how then does Blackpaw come into this scenario?
So Blackpool knows Swift fairly well because she once looked after his burden. So logically, I think you said you lived in a condo, didn't you, Swift?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So I'm in this clapped out old Amity-style house just on a little distance away. And then that's the older part of town. And the condo that you're in is sort of rubbing shoulders with the older part of town, and there's sort of an effort to build more development and to regenerate the older part of town, but there's pushback from the Silverford Historical Society, yada, 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 evil developers, blah, blah, blah. So we're not quite neighbours, but we're in roughly the same vicinity. And I think we probably met because, again, I'm all about the duty. I'm a regular attendee at the Parliament of Cats, which is where the cats get together. Although we're fiercely territorial, we get together once in a while to discuss the evils that are threatening the town as a whole. And there's a place called the meeting area, which is a play area, a play park, with climbing frames and all that stuff. So cats get to rub shoulders there every now and again, and we may have met there, and then regularly when patrolling our territories, we've come into contact with each other. But I picture it always being quite friendly rather than being as like aggressive as Tack was with his very territorial nature, because Swift is always looking for new friends to try and fill the hole in his heart. So he's keen to make a good impression and to be kind of, but he comes across as being a bit serious. So it'd be, you know, more like oh, hi, how are you? I hope everything's fine with your territory, and, you know, nothing bad's been creeping out of the sewers to threaten you recently.
Yeah, absolutely. Swift looks at Blackpaw the first few meetings and is just like kind of enamored, lots of respect. Like, you almost seem academic. You seem so ready to fight for the good cause, and I'm just like, I'm out here wandering. Yeah, I'm totally with you.
It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. The humans aren't going to look after themselves, are they?
They are kind of doltish.
I mean, I sometimes wonder how they're in charge of everything, considering they know so little about whatever is going on.
It's the damn thumbs.
And you know what really gets on my paws? I hide a mouse to protect my family by putting a ward up, and they keep throwing it out. It's like, can't you tell this is an offering to death, which is designed to protect you? It's like, I have to keep hiding them in the most bizarre places, and yet they still find them. It's something about the smell, I think. It's just really annoying.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You'd think they'd be appreciative of these acts.
Exactly. And you know, every time it's like, I've got to find a new hiding space, because once they figure it out, they're all anyway, you don't need to know about my problems. But yeah, I mean, humans.
Burdens.
Yeah, they really are. Yeah, whoever called them that, they had a good line on it, didn't they?
So Swift,
yeah.
You looked after Lily, which is Blackpaw's burden.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen?
How old is Lily now?
She's 12 now, so this might have been a year or two ago.
Sure. Would you say Lily is related to my burdens?
Ooh.
Sure, that'd be good. Why don't we say either like a
Cousin?
If not a granddaughter, then like kind of an adopted granddaughter, or like, you know, their auntie/uncle, or, you know, something like that.
Yeah, I would say Lily also calls the grandparents, but we're probably like second cousins to Tisha, right? I might have wandered one time a little too far, and I was like, oops, guess I forgot my spot. I'll just find another, and saw Lily and realized she was not taken care of, and she was a burden without a bearer to protect. And she was just so cute. Most humans are kind of squishy and gross, but this one was just so innocent, so soft, and she did give me the best head scritches. So I naturally was obligated to protect her for a little bit until you came along.
And Nameless. Let's bring Nameless into this mix here.
Okay, so I have a thought here, but Tack, stop me if I'm, overstepping. I think that perhaps your cul-de-sac and my area, our borders touch. So perhaps we occasionally have spats from our bordering, but perhaps it started as spats, but we've grown and turned it from the occasional, the little, like the fights and those kind of like cat noises. It started as that, but eventually, I think it turned into some more polite conversation. But it definitely took Nameless a while to get there.
Oh, same thing with tech. I think probably it took at least a year of us being in like the same area and seeing one
Yes.
another to like relax a little bit and not look like I hate that I love that
Yeah.
catty corner and it took a while for us not to look like lowercase h's at one another, you know, with our backs really
Yes.
arched. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of the hair up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the hissing noises. But I think maybe we had some sort of something that went through both of our territories that we saw as a danger that maybe is kind of what brought us. Maybe it was some sort of dog.
For sure. I think, and one of the things I read was like, very few dogs are sapient. Most of them are kind of, but like the ones, and with animals that are sapient, they usually control the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there was a concern about, yeah, I don't
Sapient
want
dog?
sapient dogs. I don't want canines in my neighborhood.
No.
They don't clean up after themselves, and they don't bother their burdens to do it either, and that's not okay. I'm willing to bury the hatchet if we get on this together.
This dog must go. He defecated in my territory.
Oh, can you bury it? Did you try bury it? Yeah, I'm sure you tried.
It's quite large.
Yeah, it's so large, and it smells so bad.
It's what do they eat? And the hair, the smell.
It almost looked like sometimes it looks like they go back for another bite, and I don't understand that at all.
I saw this dog do that, but yet I believe that he is sapient. So how can he be sapient and return to his own excrement?
They're filthy. They're absolutely disgusting. And let's just keep them out of this neighborhood. I'll promise if they come anywhere near me, or if I see them anywhere near you, I'll do what I must.
We must keep tabs on this dog together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to put aside our differences.
I believe its name is Greg? Or maybe that's the burden. I don't know. See, this is the issue with dogs and their burdens. They always name them human names, and it's so confusing.
Together we will take down Greg, whether Greg be dog or burden.
It does not matter.
All right. We have Greg the burden. Or Greg the dog / burden. And okay, we have some relationships. So, and then I think you've all met because you're at least once removed.
Mm-hmm.
So you've all met through various things, maybe going to Parliament as well as these relationships. So that brings us to the adventure. It is November 1st. And there are the remnants of all of the festivities of Halloween. Halloween is one of your busiest nights because you have to keep not just your young burdens safe as they wander the streets at night, which they normally don't do, and they are not prepared to really traverse properly. But it's also All Hallows Eve, and things are afoot. So you are tired from your day, or your night of protecting your burdens and keeping all the ghouls and ghosties that have, peered through the veil on that night. And you have slept and napped the day away to recharge your batteries. And it is now 11 o'clock. Nameless, where are you? It's 11 o'clock at night. You are just starting your proverbial day, your night.
My first start of my evening is always I have to patrol my borders. make sure there's nothing that's trying to infringe upon my area, no new smells that I might not recognize, or perhaps some smells that I appreciate and recognize. But either way, I must check my area and make sure everything is as it should be.
Okay. I'm also going to bring up here are, on Roll20, some of your basic moves and such that you have. The rules. So you are patrolling, and you see, puffing around the skirts of an alley, a white rat. Now this one, it smells strange. It doesn't smell like a normal rat. And you can see it sniffing around, looking around. And it's not, you would think, there's this nice ripe garbage bin that a human forgot to put the lid on tight, and it is only half on. And normally, you know rat behavior. Rats should go straight for this. But this one, it just sniffs around, kind of shakes its head, and runs off.
So I know from my years that it's wise not to dive right in when there's something strange afoot, but I definitely want to check it out a little bit more. Can I do something like an investigation check?
Yeah, so you can investigate. Why don't you investigate? So roll. You can actually just click your sheet.
I'm mediocre at it, so that's a good start.
All right, a 1. So that's 1 success. What exactly are you trying to do here?
I think I want to see if I can see anything that sticks out about this rat that shows that they're unusual. I mean, there's this behavior, but I'm looking for more physicalities that might stick out, other than maybe it's white color, anything that might otherwise mark it as unusual.
Its eyes grow green, like a pale green.
I'm going to slowly make my way closer. Ultimately, I'm trying to stick to the shadows a little bit, but I think that I'm seeing this rat as a threat, and I want to take this rat down. I don't like this. I don't like its behavior. I don't like that it's near my territory. I don't like this rat's eyes.
Okay.
So maybe a stealth roll to see if I can get a little bit closer before attacking.
So sneak attack. You're gonna stalk it.
Yep, exactly. So would that be a stealth roll?
Yeah, give stealth.
All right. Because I have a stunt that is pounce, where I'm an expert at pouncing from concealment, and I get +2 to my fight roll when I make the first of attack of a conflict from ambush. So I want to try and use stealth to get into ambush and then.
Okay, let's
pounce.
do it. Let's see how sneaky you are as you approach this rat.
Not very.
Oh, jeez.
Yikes.
Okay.
I mean, the rat could be worse. It could be even worse at noticing you. There is a chance. Not a very good one.
Yeah, that's true. A very small chance.
Do you add a +1 to that because you're coming out of stealth, or is that already with that calculator?
We were counting the stealth first to see how stealthy they were before they could pounce.
They were very suspicious.
I think you alert this rat. How do you make a racket?
You mentioned that there was an open garbage can before, so I think perhaps there was a can beside it that I didn't notice, and I tripped over it, and that loud clack of the tin can is what alerted the rat.
Okay, and because this is catastrophic, the can knocked up against the garbage can, because it's one of those metal, like Oscar the Grouch type of metal garbage cans, and you knock it, and the lid comes flying off, clatters on the ground, and you see a light turn on at the back of one of the houses.
Oh no, I made one of the motion lights go off. That's really, I'm imagining that it just happens to be facing my direction as it is.
Yes,
it's like a spotlight on me.
You are there, and that rat looks up, sees you, and scurries the heck out of there. And that will bring us to Tack. What are you doing at 11 o'clock?
I think he's Tack's just like getting up himself. Had like a late evening nap after a little bit of food at Mary's, stretching out, and just kind of hopping from the cat tree to the top of Mary's roof, and then just kind of like making his patrol on the 10 houses that make up this cul-de-sac, going back and forth and just sort of peering and taking a look.
Okay. You are doing your patrolling, making sure everything's good, because while All Hallows Eve was the night before, the veil is still thin in this new day. So you're patrolling, and you see a long hairless tail slinking into a bush.
I try a long tail. Okay, I'm gonna stalk it. That's one of Tack's stunts. Okay. You can use stealth instead of fight to launch your first attack during a conflict if you've been stalking your prey from concealment. So a little similar, except I'll just use stealth to attack as I try to get a gander at it. All
right, so you're just gonna pounce it.
Yeah, it's. I should know what's in my territory.
And so, you know what that kind of long tail looks like. That's a familiar looking tail.
Oh, it is it? Okay.
Like, it looks like a rat tail, for sure.
For sure, then. Yeah, let's go. Let's get it.
Okay.
And so, what would I add to this? Anything?
No, I think you just click it on your sheet.
Cool. Ah, superb.
Wow. Whoop. Okay. So this, you do this exceptionally well. And some great things will happen. But before let's kind of set up this scene here. Mm-hmm. So how do you go in and pounce this rat in the bush?
I see the tail slither into a bush and the bush move a little bit. And so I'm on a roof already, so I kind of just move over to the edge in the corner of the roof, and I just like am looking, and my true name is the Night Finder, and it is night, and I will find what I'm looking for. And with like that security and comfort, wiggles his little butt, becomes a tiny spring, and then just pounces straight into the bush, knowing that his mouth is gonna get what he's looking for.
Okay, yeah, and because this is superb, I think you pin it down at the shoulders of this rat, and you are on it. You pinned it down. Your claws are extended and dug right in. This rat is not going anywhere. You have got it pinned.
Tell me why I shouldn't eat you right now. Not a good answer. And Tack will bite the rat.
Okay, you've got it pinned. You bite it, and then it's like, shinies! I need the shinies!
Oh! Now we're talking. Okay. Oh, what do you need? Shinies?
Shinies. He needs the shinies.
Who needs the shinies?
The shinies. He needs the shinies. Shinies.
Huh. I am I've seen this cat. I've seen this rat. I know what this rat looks like. I've heard its voice. I am going to let it go. And I'm going to cast, I'm going to use one magic stunt, invisibility. So I'm going to whisper my true name backwards to create an inverted word around you, making you invisible until the end of the scene.
Okay.
And I want to now follow this rat.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let's.
So, yeah.
So you're gonna follow. Let's shift to Swift. It's 11 o'clock.
Is
What are
it
you up to?
11 o'clock already? God. Last night was trash. Okay. Just come up the stairs and they ring the door and it's all just terrible. You'll find me slinking out. And nightly duties usually means Swift will check in to the playground where we host Parliament and try and meet new people, do the networking, judge them from nose to tail. So yeah, I think I will head to the playground.
Go ahead. Oh, to the playground, to the meeting space?
Mm-hmm.
Neutral ground. Okay, you head out to neutral ground, and you see already a bunch of cats there. Cats, like they're all from this area of Silverford, and yeah, there are already a whole bunch there. One of the main cats that you see is Jezebella. You know Jezebella. Jezebella is very old and wise and has a lot of respect from all of the other cats.
Yeah, Jezebel is a badass, and Swift tries to embody Jezebella energy and fails miserably every time. So Jezebella's there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of circle the playground and nod. It's not super unusual for this many cats to be out and about after a big event, but I am quite curious.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll try to very respectfully do my slow blinks at Jezebella and greet her.
She blinks a few times in a sleepy way and then licks her paw and kind of grooms the back of her head. Ah, welcome. So you've seen them too, then?
In my dreams, yes. In the world, no.
Then you don't know. There are mysterious white rats about with green glowing eyes. Be careful.
Have we captured one yet? Have we tasted one yet?
Oh, some have, but they don't give us much information beyond shinies.
Like crows? Crows like shinies, right?
Perhaps, but they want shinies. And these rats, we can tell, are not quite sapient. We believe something is in the works.
I see. Should we be taking an offense or protecting our burdens more closely?
Perhaps a little of both. Perhaps a little of both.
Thank you. Thank you for your wisdom. It's always appreciated, Jezebella, and I'll just back away and be enamored and very confused by this old lady's wisdom.
The
Sorry,
other
go
cats,
ahead.
you can hear them. They are talking, and
Mhm.
they're like, I tried to grab it, and I tried to make it talk, but all it said was shinies, shinies, it's looking for the shinies. And then another one cuts in, me too.
Clearly mind control. Great. They're a hive of white rats. Excellent. I'm gonna slink off and go to the cul-de-sac, find my peers.
Blackpoor, it's 11 o'clock. What are you up to?
I'm in the undergrowth, in the loose leaves around the side of the house, and I'm looking for a mouse because I need to replenish the wards around the property to make sure that Lily is protected. And for that, I need a blood sacrifice. So I'm in full stealth mode, all down on all four paws, tail twitching, listening to every careful little sound of the wind rustling through the leaves, looking for any sign of motion. A vole would do, a mouse. Has to be small, has to be non-sapient. The smaller it is, the easier to hide. So I'm just sniffing the wind, trying to find a rodent.
Oh, you find a rodent. But this is a large rodent. White rat.
My hackles rise as I see this large and weird-looking rodent. This is not what I was looking for. What's the rat doing? Is it trying to get into the house? Is it just looking around the side of the property?
It is around the side of the property in the garden. It is sniffing around, and you can hear it muttering under its breath. Shiny, shiny, need the shiny, 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 shiny.
Okay. I'm going to pull the mantle of darkness around myself, and as I do so, I become a shadow in the night as I adopt my night terror persona. And I'm going to creep up on the rat from behind, and then I'm going to sort of do a Batman growl in a low and threatening voice, as close to his ear as I can. You don't belong here, rodent.
But I need the shiny. I need the shiny. Can't smell the
There is
shiny.
no shiny here. Begone, or I will kill you.
Shiny. And it scurries along the side of the house, through the hydrangea bushes, and into the hostas, around the corner. But it does not leave the property.
Okay, I will follow, and it needs to be driven away. So if it won't leave, I'm going to have to follow through on my threat. I made a promise, and therefore I will have to kill it unless it leaves. So I'll give it a couple of seconds to see the error of its ways, and then I'm just going to unsheath my claws, and I'm going to leap on it to try and, well, I'm going to kill it.
Okay. In that
How's it coming?
moment, can I actually, before you try to kill it, can you please
Yep.
roll notice?
Yep. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. If you don't have it on...
No,
there
I
we
got
go.
it. It's just I didn't see the pop-up. It was hidden behind some other windows.
Okay. All right, fair. So something you notice is the rat sees you, and you can see it shake in fear, and it twitches as if it was to run away, but then it jerks stop and starts to just stay there.
Ah, there is more at hand here. Clearly the rat is well, let's say clearly, there's a potential that the rat is a victim in its own right, being controlled by another force. I'll stay my savage claw. I'll give it another thought. And I'm going to scent the air, and I'm not a master at it, but I have a little bit of knowledge of seeking. So I'd like to try and see if I can detect around the rat magic leading from it to somewhere else, as if there's an influence being cast upon it. So
Yes.
Following the rat stealthily, claw an inch away from descending, I'll pull it back, and then try and find the flows of magic from the rat to whatever's controlling it.
Okay. Do we have to roll for that stunt?
It's just one of the seeking innate powers.
Okay.
Yes, normally there'd be a roll, but it depends whether you want there to be a chance of failure and something exciting happening if I don't get it right.
I think...
It might be that the intelligence finds me in exchange.
I think for the sake of time,
Yep.
you feel a tug to the deep place, the old Silverford mine.
Rats in the deep place. but nobody goes there anymore.
Right about here. I'm pinging that for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, it's tugging in that area.
Okay, so change of plans. I'm not going to immediately kill the rat. Do I think it's small enough I'd be able to overpower it and take it with me by grabbing it by the throat, or is it too big for that?
It's about half your size.
So challenging, but might be possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try and grab hold of it, grip it by the back of the neck, so that with one bite I could kill it, and then drag it with me to the meeting place to try and show the rat off to the other cats.
Okay, why don't we try a fight for that?
Yeah, okie dokie. It's quite big, so I think I might need to stack the deck in my favor. So I terrified it earlier. Does that count as an aspect that will help me to overcome it? If it's scared of me, it won't be as good at fighting back.
Yes, I think so. That is very fair.
Yeah, okay then. So I'll go ahead and make a fight roll, but I've got a free invoke in the bag if I need it.
Oh, you don't need it.
Okay, excellent.
You did very well. Yeah, so what does that look like of you grabbing onto this white rat with green glowing eyes?
So, having been cloaked in the darkness, it didn't see me coming. Maybe there was the faint flash of my eye gleam at the last second before I grabbed it. And then it just felt this weight upon its back, and it felt savage teeth closing around the back of its spine, holding onto it tightly. I give it a little shake just to demonstrate who's boss, and then I haul it up into the air. I'm not quite big enough to hold it all the way up, but I'm holding it high enough that it can't get any purchase on the ground with its paws. And I'm just going to drag it like that, like a sack of sand, across the road to the meeting area, with its protesting and its tail slashing around, but it can't quite break the grip I have on its neck.
All right, we have one cat going off to the meeting place, while one is leaving the meeting place to go to the cul-de-sac. Let's open up on the scene of the cul-de-sac. We have someone pouncing, or being invisible, tracking a rat. So you follow this rat, and this rat is just going from place to place, and it's going into houses, and it's trying to find a way in. And at one house there is a basement window that is propped open, because it's a nice balmy early November. It's totally out of season, but it's actually quite warm this Halloween. Global warming and all that,
Yeah.
It's just the new norm.
Mm-hmm.
There is a basement window, and that rat starts to go into it.
I think Tack waits outside for whenever, at what point it decides to come out with whatever it's looking for, if it comes out with whatever it's looking for. And it's just kind of sitting there and lazily swishing its tail, which you don't see, but you do see the grass move as if there was a tail there. But yeah.
Okay, so I think at that point we have Swift arriving, and we have Nameless arriving in the cul-de-sac. And you see, I think, well, let me see if you see it. Why don't you both roll notice?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to.
So would I. Let's see. So notice. It's a fair.
Okay. You got a mediocre. And Tracy?
Am I rolling? Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if I was rolling as well. I have average.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Nameless, you see the grass swishing. It's moving in... I mean, you're a cat. You know that there are cats with invisibility powers, and you can see that swish that snakes along on each side, and it looks very much like a cattail swish. Swift, you are not so keen on the uptake here, but you do notice Nameless, and Nameless's attention focused on something in the darkness.
This isn't my space. I defer to Nameless. I'm like, okay, don't get in their way.
Would I maybe, noticing the cat, having this first instinct of noticing that there is likely an invisible cat there, would I be familiar enough with Tack's smell to distinguish them?
Yes, indeed, you would be.
I think for the moment, I don't want to disturb them because I sense that they're, or have the feeling perhaps that if they're invisible that they're hunting. So I think I want to just step back a little bit and observe.
Okay. And Swift is observing as
So
well?
we have Swift observing Nameless and Nameless
Yes.
observing Tack.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Big
Yes.
old notice train.
Yep. Big ol' notice train. And Tack, you notice that you can see these little green eyes sneaking around in that basement, and you can hear shiny, shiny, need the shiny for the deep place, shiny, shiny, no shiny, where shiny, no shiny, and you just see it running around in there, just sniffing around.
And at this point, I'm aware of Nameless and Swift being nearby.
Yes, you would
Yes.
be.
I think the moment Tech sits there, watches, waits, slowly turns around, pops up right next to Swift, reveals themselves, and goes, "So, you guys, you see the rats? The rats are about. Nameless. There's more rats trying to get into our home."
Yep. Glowy rats. Rats
Yes.
that all want shinies.
What-
Confirmed
what-
with the council.
What is that? What, like, are they after the burden's money? Is that what they care for? That the heavy things they put in their pockets?
I saw one earlier, but it got away.
Oh.
But these shinies, Burdens value shiny objects very highly.
Wait. Do you think a burden is making them do this?
Burdens can't even speak our language. You think they can commune with white rats?
You're right. It's ridiculous, but
We
I don't
gotta
know.
find the brain behind the shiny squeakers.
Well,
Whatever it is, I fear that it could be dangerous for our burdens.
You hear...
I've been tracking one. It's in the house right now, and it mentioned something about for the deep, and the only deep place I really know is maybe where the mines were, but I don't know. I don't know the area. You know me. I stick to my part of town.
You hear, as you're saying this, a little bell. And you know this bell. All the cats in Silverford know this bell sound, because it is the bell of a cat named Tony. Tony wears a little bell with a red bow on their collar, and they are the town crier for Parliament of Cats of Silverford. And you hear, well, Burdens would hear, meow, but you know that means Jezebel is calling Parliament into order.
Fuck.
We must go. Report our findings.
Tack looks back at the house. There'll be more. It's fine. There'll be more. They didn't even taste that good, to be honest. I got one in my mouth and it was stringy and really just like skin and bone. So
I've never been fond of the taste of rat.
the tails are nice to chew on, actually. It's not bad.
So you go off
Succulent.
to the park?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
All right, you go off to the park, and as you arrive at the park, that is when you come across Blackpaw dragging this rat like a bag of sand across town and into the park. And all the cats, there are now about 50 cats sitting on various places in the jungle gyms, and they are... Sorry, I got distracted by the dog.
The dog
No.
demands to be left outside. Mother, I am bored.
And there are about 50 cats. They're all sitting around, and every single one of them look at Blackpaw.
I would rush over and help Blackpaw contain the
If we
rat.
both pin it with our paws, I can let it
Right.
out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Each one of us put one on each limb.
Without
Yes.
paws combined.
Thank you for your help. I caught this rat sneaking around our garden earlier, but I'm not sure it's doing it willingly. I think it might be being controlled from elsewhere because it didn't run away even though it wanted to.
Jezebella looks over at you. Finally, new news. So you think it's being controlled?
It's not acting like a normal rat, that is for sure. And I felt a pull of magic from it to, I think it was in the direction of the deep place. I got
The
a sensation
old
of
mines.
darkness.
No one goes there anymore. Forgotten things can lurk there. Well then,
Maybe we should go.
I think so too. And since the four of you seem to have a handle on that rat,
What?
I think the four of you should go.
I'll
And
bow
you
and
hear a choir of of yes, we think so. Democracy at its best. The vote has been made, and you four shall be our champions and figure out this mystery.
I suppose we shall.
It would be my honor, but if somebody could keep an eye on Lily while I'm away, I would appreciate it.
And Jezebella nods. We shall send Sable.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sable will be good at keeping good lilies safe. And a black cat with a white tuft on their chest comes slinking out of the inky darkness and nods at you, Blackpaw, before he goes off into the darkness in the direction of your home.
Thank you. Well, are you all ready, or do you need to make some preparations before we go?
Speed
I'm
is
ready.
of the essence.
I just wanted to eat and go back to my neighborhood, and now I'm going to someplace I don't know. No, I'm not ready, but I'm here.
It's like
Well.
a vacation post-Halloween, right?
Oh man.
If it helps at all, Lily has this great food that she gives me, and I'll share some of it with you if that makes you feel better, Tack.
Food?
Yes, I'll share it with Tack because but there's only so much food. I mean,
Oh, no, that makes sense. I should have it. I should be, yeah, that just makes sense. I get that.
he's
You
always
see my
thinking with
like
his stomach.
my hair go up like a tiny little bit. Kind of my back starts to arch in that slightly defensive stance.
It's okay. Let Tack have this one. I know how to get inside the tuna cabinets at home.
Tuna.
Yeah.
Pulls up and puts a paw on Blackpaw's for a moment. It's like walking with 3 legs. So tell me more about this food, huh? What's going on there?
Well, it's the stuff that comes in a packet, and they open it they just tear it off. It's not like the thing with the thing in the
Wait.
hard containers. It's like a pouch.
And
Thing.
I don't need a burden I can get into it myself.
Oh yeah, you could totally tear it off yourself. You could eat your way into it. And then it's got like gravy. It's like this thick, juicy stuff surrounding these little nuggets of meat, and it's so delicious.
On my life, on all 9 of them, I will find the mystery and I will solve it for this gravy packet.
Indeed. We shall solve it together in
Mm.
the name of the gravy packet.
In the name of the gravy packet. That is mine.
Yes, it will be yours. Yes.
I
whole
whisper to
packet.
Swift, I'm going to steal it afterwards.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
Blackpool
support
was thinking
this.
to himself, I'll go hungry that day. This is going to pan out.
Is that what I guess that's our conversation as we make our way over to the mine?
That is your conversation as you make your way across the covered bridge. It's an old wooden covered bridge. Think, you know that bridge in Beetlejuice? That old... No one's seen Beetlejuice?
Mhm.
Not in many
Not
years.
in a while,
It
but
gave me nightmares.
if you keep talking, I might recall. So, what
It's
part
where
of
they
Beetlejuice?
died. In
Oh, so, okay.
Sorry, spoilers. You know.
It's like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
In the first 5 minutes of the
Yeah.
movie, they go into that bridge, and that bridge like collapses. And, like,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like one of those old wooden bridges, and it's a little rough going. But you are able to sneak around the bad boards, because you're cats, and you know how to safely place your paws, and test the weight of everything. And as you pass that, you hear a fluttering of wings, and it is Fergus, your friend, the bat.
Fergie, what are you doing here?
Okay, what does a bat sound like? I gotta channel a bat.
Mm-hmm.
This is my favorite spot.
Oh, right, because this was your home. Yeah.
There's lots and lots of bugs. Good food for the picking here.
But Fergie, I gotta ask, have you seen any? And I know you don't care for them, but rats running around?
Lots of rats. Lots and lots and lots and lots of rats. They've all been streaming through, going towards town.
So they've been coming from the mine.
Is that where they're coming from? This voice keeps on changing. Is that where they're coming from?
We think so. Have you seen... How many have you seen?
Oh, lots of them. Some of them are going across the river they swim, but others come through the bridge. Probably a good 100? Maybe
That
more.
sounds like a lot.
That's a. I turn to the rest of the cats. That's a lot of rats, and there's only 4 of us.
Well,
But
we're
if
just
they're
here to get
being
information.
mind controlled, right? They're half sentient. They're only talking about shinies. We just gotta find the source controlling them.
So, looking down the shaft of the mine into utter darkness, just go in and get out real fast, and then we all eat.
I am looking forward to the eating part. Yes.
You're a
What?
seeker, right, Tak?
I can find things, yeah.
Can you do that thing where you go out of your body?
Uh,
Oh, I can guard you like usual.
yeah, Fergie. I mean, except it's not just. Yeah, I just give me some privacy, okay? And he like paws around, hides behind a tree, and like forms the most perfect donut. And do other cats see my astral form?
Yeah, cats can see spirits and ghosts.
Okay, and so they will see my essence rise, and it's exactly the same. It's the tabby cat, but instead of being orange, it's just like this ethereal, transparent blue. And okay, just make sure I'm safe. Make sure nothing happens. And I just need to be able to get back. That's it. Okay. I'll let you know what I see.
I'll protect your body, don't worry.
And Nameless, Mary is very nice. So if you move in, just be nice to her, okay?
You're
That's-
coming back? You don't need a will right
There's
now.
100 rats. Who knows what else is down there?
You're ethereal and badass, Tak.
Okay.
Just go
but-
quickly, then have a look and come back. You don't have to hover around for too long.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'll be right back. I'll just be right back. It's gonna be fine. It's totally fine.
We'll be
It's
fine.
totally fine.
Tak, you are very strong and brave.
Oh, guys, I wasn't fishing, but thank you. I thank you. All right. And so Tax just heads down to the, I guess, floating. He doesn't even need to walk. You fly. I think you fly
Yeah,
when you astral project. Yeah.
it's the traditional, you float around,
Uh-huh.
flying through space.
And fly at great speeds.
Trajectories, man.
I, however, cannot pass through natural rock or through living things. So I guess I'm beholden to the actual the tunnels. Yeah, thank you. The tunnels within the
Yeah.
mine shaft.
So you see in the astral plane stuff that you couldn't quite make out in the material plane. There are pale green threads, hundreds of them, that are streaming out of the mines. And what's interesting is these mines used to be boarded up, but you can see that the boards have been broken. You can see like tool marks, and you can tell that humans were here doing something. And you can see there's the sneaker footprints around. And as you go there, these little threads are everywhere, and they go down all through all sorts of tunnels, but they all come from one area. And as you start to go down there, you hear a "Who goes there?"
It is I, the garter of Silverford.
Silverford will be mine unless I get my silver. And you feel a big push against your astral manifestation. And you go flying backwards.
you just see a blue streak originally get pushed and then start running away and almost like propelled by it, jump back into their body and pop up. And um uh okay. So there is something definitely in the mine. There's definitely something in the mine. It is scary and it is loud and it wants its silver. And yeah, that's all I got. So can I get that gravy packet now and get out of here? Are we good?
Well, it's a good start towards getting your gravy packet, and that's very useful intelligence. We know they're looking for silver now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to find the silver, maybe? Do you think? Well, I mean, did it say anything else?
No, it said it was his silver. Or their silver. I couldn't.
Not just silver.
No,
We're talking about specific silver.
it could have been. I did also see. I saw some fresh tracks. I saw a sneaker print, and some. The boards had been messed with on my way in.
I'm gonna retcon something for time
Yeah.
too, because we
Yeah.
have about 15 minutes. You saw there before you were pushed back the glimpse of a skeleton. Looks like a human skeleton.
It was a burden without skin and meat, and it was just its bone, and its eyes glowed, and the next thing I know, it was pushing me out. I think it might be its mind. It must be haunting the mine itself.
Sounds like an ectoplasmic spirit of the departed.
Tack's mouth just like drops while you say all of that jargon.
A spirit, a ghost.
Oh,
Whatever
okay.
you want to call it. One
Yeah.
of those things.
Got it. Okay. So Nameless Swift, I don't know what you guys think, but
Is the name of our town not Silver? Does the spirit somehow want the town? Must we be concerned for all of the burdens in the town? We must deal with this. This is not something we can let stand.
wouldn't we have seen the rats though? If it was what happened recently that made them come out? That's
You said you saw that there were footprints recently at the entrance to the mine. That must mean somebody was there recently.
maybe Swift.
So a bone-only burden wants the silver of Silverford. Can we board it back up and or convince it that the shiny one in the sky, the moon, I think they call it, can we tell them that that's made of silver?
I look down on my paws and go, I'm not sure we can board it back up. Get humans to do that. But it's really hard getting burdens to do anything.
Mm-hmm. But maybe you could find. Maybe we could find whoever's sneaker print that was, or whoever's burden may have gotten in there.
Oh.
If only we had a seeker.
Okay, but now you owe me like 2 gravy packets, okay?
Fine, 2 gravy packets. But that's all for this whole job. No more.
I mean, what are the odds that that sneaker carrying human is asleep right now?
It is
Pretty good.
late.
The burdens do like to rest when
At
the
night.
sun goes down.
Yeah.
It's the best time of day if you ask me. But yeah, they do like to sleep at this time, don't they?
Mhm.
Uh-huh. Okay, so like I could maybe take a nap on the sneaker footprint. Y'all would take care of the body. That is mine.
We
And
would.
then I might go dream walking to the human, and depending on the kind of dream they're having, just kind of tweak it here, influence it there, and convince it to get its little behind over here.
I like this plan.
Oh, that's no rats, no monsters.
Yeah, Tack, you already did the hard part. You like projected your whole body. I just do the dream walking.
Okay. I mean, don't sell yourself short. I can't do that. That's harder for me.
I am good at sleeping.
Okay, I feel good protecting you.
I will also protect you.
I too will protect you from whatever dread may fall upon you while you're in that state.
Yeah, you can see Swift just awkwardly set down right in between the two footprints and just like perfect loaf and close their eyes. Victoria, you can like flash forward however you want to resolve me dream walking to this human.
You come to, in the dreams, you kind of burst into the dream of the person that you want. You think hard about that. And it is, in fact, it's Tisha's mother.
Fuck!
And Tisha's mother is dreaming about having a lovely picnic in Blue Moon Woods. Only the person there is not her husband. It is someone else. In fact, you might recognize this other burden from, like, that weird box thing that they stare at.
Ah, indeed, one of these silly burden dreams. Which box character do I see?
It's one from that daytime. You're always kind of sleeping, but it's usually like during prime nap time, and occasionally there's like a gunshot or a big gasp or something that might stir you or rouse you from your slumber, and then you kind of grumble and go back to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that burden always looks like he's fairly capable. Okay. So am I confident that Tisha's mom is the one who owns the sneakers?
No.
Okay.
Because Tisha's mom generally doesn't wear sneakers.
That's what I was saying.
Are you gonna travel?
Yeah, I'm gonna zip zap zoop around. I'm like, not this one. This looks like a weird human thing.
And you find yourself, after a fishing trip with Mr. Tisha, you find finally Tisha, who is currently running around in an old abandoned building.
Okay. I'm gonna tweak his dream and see if he recognizes the cave. So now he's running around in the cave.
Okay, you tweak that dream. What does it look like when you tweak a dream?
Much like when Tech leaves their body, I kind of swirl around. I start like it almost looks like I'm painting with my paws, and I tip tap like a little Bob Ross cat, and I'm like, yes, okay, now you're in a cave.
Okay, and you hear a. I should put them back. We should put them back. And you see Tisha in this dream reach into their pocket and pull out a silver nugget.
Oh, I know I encouraged this one. This burden was a curious one, and I wanted to help. Let them explore. And okay, all right. And I'm like, cool. I'm gonna grab the nugget. I'm gonna wave it in front of her and be like, yes, please put it back. Wasn't yours to take. When you go out and you look at things, you don't take. Only look.
And you can feel the dream start to slip away as Tisha rouses from sleep and into awakeness.
Ugh. 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 You see me stretch out.
Swifter,
Okay.
you're all right.
Yep, did some dream hopping. It's always a little weird, and may or may not be my burden who took a little clump of silver, I guess. Oof.
It's good because it means we can deal with this.
Yeah. She's awake now. She knows she should put it back because she shouldn't have took it in the first place. So hopefully she's like on her way over here. And we just have to, protect her from the weird bone-only version of the burdens.
We will protect your burden.
Only things just sit there and don't do much. But if there's a spirit, that's another story.
Yeah.
So we just sit here and wait now? We just...
No, I think we should escort her. What if she gets attacked by the rats while she's on her way here?
Yeah, she could be vulnerable to attack on the... You're absolutely right. Maybe... Well, if she's coming here, why don't we go... Do you want her to know that you got out, Swift?
Oh, she secretly knows that I get out. It's the parents that don't like me getting out.
Oh.
It's supposed to be an indoor-only cat.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're wasting moonlight. Why not go accompany her on her journey?
Yes, we should do that right away.
I'm going to sleep so hard all damn day tomorrow.
Well deserved.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we can sneak a treat while we're there. Let's go.
If you could get us some of that tuna.
Yes.
That would be great.
I've learned how to pop the tab.
Wait, what?
Please show me, please.
How? You're not even polydactyl. How?
There is this weird sheet of metal sticking out of the dumpster at the corner of the condos. And if you just put it right so on the tab, you can just give it a little nudge and just the tuna falls right out.
Oh, yes. Okay.
We have to go now.
Yes. To protect her and also to get food, but yes.
Right. Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So as you make your progress back to the covered bridge to get across the river, because I doubt you cats are swimming.
No.
Never.
As you approach the covered bridge, you hear before you see some muffled kid voices. And in fact, you all recognize a voice. These are voices of young burdens. Tisha! This is ridiculous. It's too late. It's dark out here. Lily, be quiet. We don't want anyone to find us. And turn off that headlight. But I can't see if I don't have that headlight on. And you hear the whir of bikes as 4 young kids ride in the dark towards you.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Black Paws. Tisha clearly drugged some of the friends in on this. Now it's a burden adventure.
It's okay, we'll look after them all. At least we know where they are.
Okay, but they can't see us.
No, we should hide in the shadows.
You act like that's not my favorite place to be!
All right, everyone. That means stealth rolls.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Perfect.
Excellent. I'm bad at this.
Ooh.
Ooh, tack.
I've been very lucky.
Ooh.
I hope this luck continues all day because I have another campaign that's going to be very tough later. Just roll 20, be kind
Crossing
to
my
me all
fingers
day.
Got it great.
Nice.
Mediocre. It's a mediocre, though.
It's not bad.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Black back, which helps.
They're baby burdens. They won't notice us. Freaked out baby burdens.
I think you're turning on my shadow armor, but I realized it doesn't actually give you any stealth benefits. It's just armor. Well, it does make you pure black with a little glimmery starlight in your eyes. But...
Oh!
We need one more roll?
We have all of them.
Yeah. Tracy.
Nameless rolled a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you rolled notice, not stealth.
Oh! In that case, then it would be actually a 0 because my stealth modifier is +0.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you just roll stealth?
Okay. Oh, good.
I was about to say, you can only do better. You can only do better. That's the only option.
Victoria, we're going to remember this one. Roll the notice, she says.
Yep. Roll the right one. Oh, geez. Okay. So the rest of you managed to hide. Tack, where you hide, because we have 3 minutes left, you hide super well. You just blend into the darkness. And Swift, you are close on Tack's heels. Blackpaw, you're a little slow to go, but you don't quite manage to make it behind a tree, but at least the base of the tree, it's shadowy, so unless the small burdens are really paying attention for those shining eyes that catch the starlight, they do not notice you. Nameless. I think in your effort to run out of the way, you stumble because you hit one of the boards that have rotted away a bit, and you start to slide. And
Oh no!
you have to extend your claws to dig into the ground while your bottom half is hanging down out over the river. You are just hanging there.
I think Nameless is proving to be the least graceful cat ever.
And you can hear the kids go, "What was that? Who cares? Keep on going."
And I'm just clinging on for my life right now, not even paying attention to the burdens, just thinking about not falling.
Have they passed us now?
Yes, because they're on their bikes and they're kids. They're just going.
Big zooms. I'm gonna leave the shadows and just help Nameless.
Yeah.
Help me, please!
Simba.
All right, so you help
I don't
them
know
up?
how. I guess we're gonna have to. I'm sorry, this is not gonna be graceful. It's not gonna be cute, but we're gonna have to grab you by the scruff. I still have respect for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, please! Quickly!
Yeah, and we'll probably with our powers combined attack,
Yeah, I think
swing you up and momentumly grab you in. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
And you follow the kids? Go back to the mine?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, you
Our
race
burdens,
back
damn
to the
it.
mine, running as fast as your little cat legs can take you, swiftly through the darkness. And there you can see a pile of bikes on the outside of the mine, just leaning up against there. And you can see shadows moving along in the inside of the mine. There's bursts of lights and shadows all over the place.
Before going into the mine, I'm going to pick up a small pebble in my mouth, and I whisper my true name and Lily's to it to give to activate a power called Absorb, which means if she gets hurt, I get to absorb the stress, or half the stress on her behalf.
Ooh.
Oh,
okay.
sweet bee.
Very smart.
Do you go in?
Yeah.
You go in and you see the 4 kids, each with their hands out, completely oblivious to the fact that there are a whole bunch of glowing green eyes in the darkness. Like, there's gotta be about 200 pairs of eyes all over the place. And this skeleton, which is the super green, it's just green. Think the green, the ghosts from from Lord of the Rings movies, in Return of the King, when they swarm out. It's that kind of thing. And they are, the 4 kids are like, you hear the one's like, but I really want this. Like, this is fun. He's dead. It's not that he needs this. And Tisha's like, just come on, just do it. Fine. And the 4 of them drop their silver nuggets on top of the skeleton. And you can hear, yes, my silver. And there is a bit of like a breeze that goes through the tunnel, and the kids shudder slightly. And this green starts to come, thread after thread after thread is like sucked into the skeleton until it's just this great big glowing ball of green light. And then there's a and it's gone.
Some burdens are really, really dramatic past their time. All this over silver?
Perhaps it is the price of having 1 life instead of 9.
But
good point.
We should get these burdens out of here before, I don't know, that skinless burden wants something else. And like, Tackle just meow loud enough for them to hear, so they realize that they're not alone.
Mm-hmm. And you see John, who lives in the house next door to Mary Kerchief.
Mm-hmm.
John will sometimes give you a scritch, and a flashlight goes swinging over, illuminating the 4 of you. And John's like, what is... That's the cat from this cul-de-sac.
I go up to him and I rub up on his leg, and then I skitter out real fast.
Come on, let's go. This is weird. Why are they... And Tisha said, why is Swift? And Lily. What does Lily name you?
Lucky.
Lucky. What are they doing here? We should get them home. And all of them reach down to pick all of you up. Each one of you.
No, I don't like this. I'd rather be on the ground.
For
Please
the
don't pick me
tuna.
up. Please don't
For
pick
the
me up. Please
tuna.
don't. Yeah.
Attack for the tuna.
Okay. Oh.
I run
I
away.
think we're gonna fade the black hair.
Seems suitable.
That is a little game of the secrets of cats. And this is actually loosely based on the adventure that comes in the Roll20 setup that you can get for this game. There's a lot we did not hit because we have such a small amount of time in which to showcase this, but this is a part of it, though I took a little bit of liberties with the ending.
Yeah, I designed that to be a one-off session, but as I said to you, I always just put so many little threads in that one of my one-offs is meant to take like 3-4 hours, ends up taking 6. So
Yeah.
you did a really good job compressing it down.
Well, thank you. Before we go, I know we're a little over time, but there isn't anyone right behind us. I like to do stars and wishes. So if you're not familiar with stars and wishes stars are something that you really enjoyed about the game. It could be just something about the session itself. It could be something that you even did as a character. It could be something someone else did as a character. It could be anything that you liked. It could even be, I really like this map. It's just something that you enjoyed. And a wish is something that you wish you could see more of, that you wish that you could explore or do or something that you wish more of. So why don't we start with Tracy? What is a star and what is a wish?
I have 2 stars. The first star is the cat-related puns that came up between all of y'all and also in chat. And my second star was I really enjoyed this like Masood seeking. I thought that was just like a really cool concept, and I really liked that part of the game.
What's a wish?
A wish, I would have liked to have been able to use the naming magic a little bit more. I feel like we just because in the interest of time, we didn't really have a lot of time to get into true names, but I think the naming magic is really neat.
Mm-hmm. There is a whole side plot in this, because like I said before, true names have power.
And discover, I like the concept of having to discover the true names.
Yeah.
I think that's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, there is, in this adventure, there is a whole thing about that you can do. But time.
Yeah, I tried to come up with multiple ways to solve it, and that's one of them.
Mm-hmm. Jess?
2 stars. Roll20 layout for this module. Beautiful. All having like everything set up because I was like trying to scroll through the PDF and scan, do my homework, and it made me feel like home. I really enjoyed this Roll20 setup. And second star was the heckin' fact that Blackpaw was just ready, like just this wonderful paladin of like, do what I gotta do. Like, I don't have time. I'm gonna kill this rat or, make it useful, and always gonna take a hit for Lily. I'm like, bless this. This is wonderful. And really, like, soothe my nerves to have the creator here. I'm like, whoa, hey, thanks. A wish. Oftentimes, when I find to be in good company, I wish it was longer.
Mm-hmm.
Have more to explore.
Yeah, I agree. Masood?
A star. I really like the Council of Cats, like the Parliament of Cats, like that actual like setting, and also I mean, one narratively because it allows us all to come together and like find this like overarching theme, but also, I don't know, Richard, if you were inspired at all by Neil Gaiman's Sandman series, but there's a comic where and so like I just thought of that the entire time, which it took me to a very nice nostalgic place.
There are 2 Neil Gaiman stories that this is heavily inspired by, and that's the Dream of a Thousand Cats from Sandman, and The Price, the story about, I think it's called General, the cat that defends his family from the devil of a nighttime.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They were 2 big influences on me, yeah.
Well, I mean, I caught one, and I really liked seeing it, and I really enjoyed that. A wish that I have, I really want to get down to this whole Greg conflict. I really, at some point, double back and deal with this, like, really a return of all dogs go to heaven, except in a more honest fashion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Greg the
100%.
dog / Burden.
It's one or the other.
Richard?
So the style would be, I just, I know it's a bit of a weird concept, and it's one of those games where sometimes you talk to people and they go, I just can't, playing cats, it's just crazy, but you all really embraced it, and you just did as much as you could to really emphasize the behavior of cats and to really get into that, and it's always really great to see that. So I really appreciated your portrayal of these feline heroes. And the only wishes I had really related to time. It would have been nice to get a bit more into the deep, the deep depths of the magic system. But I understand there wasn't the time for that. But yeah, so no complaints at all. It was a really good session.
Oh, great! Thank you. My star is, well, the star for me is this game. I want to play this game a lot. I want to play it again. I definitely want to bring it to my personal table at home and play this. And I think I might try to convince the Broadswords to play some of this for Patreon. Because this is a lot of
You don't
fun.
have to convince me hard.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for making this, Richard. I've really
My
enjoyed
pleasure.
it. And a wish is, I wish I could have played it longer. I really want to have a good time with this game. So yeah, so thank you very much, everyone. Why don't we very quickly say who you are, where we can find your work, and you online, starting with Tracy.
My name's Tracy. You can find me on the Broadswords or on Twitter at TracySor.
Jess.
I'm Jess. They, them pronouns. Burst of hope. That is O and of is a 0 because bots exist for the past decade. Beyond that, you can find me in the background producing at twitch.tv/Utopia to celebrate the many colors of POCs doing tabletop games. Thank you for having me.
Masood.
Hey guys, you can find me online and Twitter and Instagram at Marudboy, MAHRUDBOI. And I will be back on later tonight on Roll20 and on D&D playing Mythic Odysseys of Theros. So please come on back. It's going to be a blast.
Richard.
Yeah, and I'm Richard, or Skimble, which I actually stole from Cats, which is, just a sign of how ridiculously into it I was. And you can find me on Twitter at SKE1MBLE. Just as an aside, I wrote this book for Evil Hat, and then I liked it so much I went off and wrote 2 expansions, which you can get from Drive-Thru RPG. One of them was about animals, so that's where I got the snail from, animals and threats, and the other one's called Feline Magic, which expands with a few extra magic systems. And when you buy those, I actually get money for them, unless you pay nothing on Pay What You Want. So if you like this, please send me some money.
Hey, Richard.
Yes. Hey, Richard. And yeah, I'm Victoria. You can find me here on Tuesdays from 6 to 8 ET. And next week we are going to be playing Dragon Age.
Ooh. I'm definitely tuning in for that.
Yeah, I'm excited because Tanya DePass is running a game for us.
Oh, the
Very
best.
fun.
Yeah, I get to play. So yeah, we're doing that. So you can find us there. You can also find me at the Broadswords, and you can find me behind the social media of Renegade Game Studios and Kobold Press. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Take care.